All right, so I'm tapping back into the follow-ups. I've been kind of neglecting them because of the agreement that I have, and I've just been focusing on the disposition side of things. I just called my first follow-up. She didn't answer, but she texted me back asking who's calling. I said, "Hey, this is Derek. We spoke a few months about your property. You let me know that family lived there, but that they had discussed possibly moving out at one point. Just wanted to round back to see if there's any interest in selling that property." She says, "Derek, they aren't ready. It would be that they have enough to relocate and be comfortable, and that house wouldn't produce that amount of money." I see. Um, Either they have enough to relocate and be comfortable that the house wouldn't produce. I see. Um, were they wanting to? I'm gonna say I see. Um, if there is interest, I'd love to discuss to see. I see. If there is interest, I'd love to discuss to see what I may be able to help out with. Um, I completely understand though. Are they wanting to buy their next property outright? Um, so I'm gonna call this guy. He's the next one on my. Oh no, I'm gonna call this guy. He's the next one on my list, Eduardo. Um, if you saw the other video where I called this guy, he cut me off and like threw a fit about it. Um, so I'm gonna call him back. He threw a fit, but like not. He threw a fit, but like not for any good reason. What happened was everybody's coming in and offering him X amount for his vacant lot. I'm pretty confident that I would be able to give him what he's asking for, but he just doesn't give me the time of day. Last time I called him, he was like, "You can keep your 30,000, until I get my 50,000. You just don't call back." And he hung up on me. Whereas I'm thinking like I could probably give you 50,000. So I just ran like a couple numbers just real quickly because it's a vacant lot. I just pulled up the new construction in the area. I have like a average ARV for new construction, and I'm gonna make sure that I'm in the right area here. Right below Eagle on the Pasadena. Yeah, so new construction in the area is going for like an average of 290. So I should hopefully be able to find a buyer somewhere around somewhere shy of 60,000, probably 55 is what the best. So I mean that's cool. If I can get it at 50, I'm gonna call him and I'm gonna treat this one kind of silly because I know he probably won't answer my call, but I'm just gonna shoot out a number right in the beginning. This is gonna be kind of fun actually. So last time, yeah, he was like he cut me off and you can get out of here with that 30,000 unless somebody's willing to give me the 50 that I want. Keep your 30,000. He hung up on me. He actually hung up on me a few different times. So this guy's frustrating, but there's a deal here if he's willing to. There's a deal here if one the vacant lot is vacant, clear, and build ready. But it's a whole other thing if like a whole other thing if the place needs to be cleared, trees need to be cut down, utilities need to be trenches need to be dug and hooked up, utilities need to be hooked up to the city. Like it's a whole other thing. But there was a property on this lot before they got torn down. So I'm pretty sure that all that's already taken care of. I just don't know what it looks like right now. If it's, again, build ready, or if there's like a vacant house and he's just saying it's a vacant lot. He says it's a bare lot. The home was taken down. Ground is ready to be built upon. That's in the notes from my partner. So I'm going to call him and I'm going to throw it out there. Eduardo, would you take 45 for your vacant lot there? Gang.
Hello?
Hey, Eduardo, this is Derek. We spoke a while about your property over on Center Street.
What?
About your lot over on Center Street.
Bro, it ain't for sale.
Yeah, I remember last time you hung up on me. You said that you wanted, and you just hung up on me again. What a fucking, whatever. He says it's not for sale, but he wants 50. I can give him 50. I'm going to call him back. What's up, bro? No, I'm not going to call him back. Went against my plan, too. Said it's not. Next week. Oh, bro. It's not for sale. All right, Maine. All right, this woman spoke with her, seemed to have been busy. She said that she wasn't interested right now. And when I asked if she would be in the near future, she said, yeah, give me a call next week, which I find pretty surprising. But since then, I've already tried her twice with no answer, but I'll give her a call now, see if I can open up the conversation a little bit, interact with me.
Hello, we are not available now.
Leave her a voicemail real
Please
quick.
leave your name and phone number after the beep. We will return your call.
Hi, Miss Taylor. This is Derek. We spoke a few weeks back in regards to your property over on Ringgold Streets. You had let me know that you weren't interested in selling in the immediate future, but possibly in the near future. So I was just rounding back, seeing if you've given it any more thought, and if there was any interest in receiving an offer for your property there, I'd love to discuss. Again, my name is Derek, and my direct line is 832-32. Yeah, hella mad for no reason. That's the second time he's done that. Like the first time that we talked to him about that lot, my partner had him spit out a number that said, or he initially gave a number of 45 to 48 for the lot. At the time, my partner didn't know if that was doable while he was on the phone because it was just right out of a cold call. He was just one of like hundreds of people that he was calling that day. So after I took a look at the numbers, I'm like, yeah, I'm pretty sure we can do that. And to be honest, he's being quite reasonable with his asking price. So if we can talk him down to 40, it would be pretty solid deal. And then, I called him and he did the same thing. He said, listen, bro, it's not for sale. You can keep those 30,000 offers until somebody gives me the 50 that I want. You can keep that 35,000, and hung up. And I'm like, right when he hangs up, I'm thinking to myself, I could probably do 50, bro, but you're making it quite difficult. And that's the type of people, honestly, like I will continue following up with him, but he's making it difficult for himself. Like he's owned that property for 3.5 years. There's a vacant lot. It's not cash flowing. All he does is pays money for it on property taxes. And he can wait until he gets that, but he also runs the risk of the market reversing and the lot depreciating in value. Which will likely happen soon here. So, it doesn't really matter for me because I'm in and out of the transactions, within a matter of days, weeks. So, the fluctuation in market price doesn't really matter to me, but it does for these people who are holding on to this property. And people will do that. Like I'm speaking with another guy who we're like $15,000 off on like a $200,000 home. And he's like, "No, I'm just gonna hold on to it until I get that price." It's like, okay, well, what are you gonna do if you can't get that price? It's like, so I'm gonna get that price eventually. I'm gonna get that price. It's like, yeah, but if you consider everything, you'll get that price 5 years from now. But what's like the cost of the dollar? There's like a present value to cash. What I'm getting pretty philosophical here, or like analytical, but there's again a present value to cash, which is why a cash offer is much lower, right? Because if I can pay you in installments, that's a huge chunk of money that I can keep in my bank account and reinvest in other avenues. But if you're going to want it all up front in one lump sum, it's going to be at a discount because there's a present value to cash. And the reverse goes. So it's like, yeah, he wants that money, but if he's willing to wait years in order for somebody to come up 15,000, it's not worth any more than if I gave you $15,000 less today. But people don't really have that foresight and can like really understand that concept. And I don't bother to try to explain that to people, but that's where people are at. That's where their heads at. Where is it? Yeah, it's in Houston. It's like a submarket in Houston. But now I guess it's not for sale. He doesn't actually. No, he does want to sell it. That's the thing. He just says that. He this time he said almost verbatim what he said last time. It's just that last time he ended the call before he hung up with, unless you can offer me 50, it's not for sale. Click. And then this time was, bro, it's 8. And he said exactly the same thing last time. Bro, it's not for sale. But if you give me 50, click. It's like, whoa. That's why I went into this phone call with the intention of just saying, and I'm going to do it next time. I just kind of got scared. I'm going to call him and say, hey, Eduardo, will you take 45 for your vacant lot? That way he's like kind of forced to consider it. This next guy, or no, that's not a good one. Billy Johnson. Okay, if I can get this guy on the phone and get him to open up a bit, this is one where he needs to sell. He wants to sell. He just doesn't want to deal with everything involved with selling, packing up and moving his stuff. We already came to a verbal agreement on price, which I want to refamiliarize myself. 61,000. But yeah, 61,000. But he's like, all right, yeah, let me get with my son and discuss with him. And he's just starting to make excuses, which is whatever, but it was just kind of frustrating because, again, we have already come to a verbal agreement on price, and I already let him know everything that I would be able to do for him in terms of helping him, relocate and move and stuff. But he just doesn't want to deal with it. And I took it personally at first, and I jumped to the conclusion of him not wanting to sell. But this is a perfect example of people that you should still follow up with. Because it's easy to assume that these people are like upset with you, or everybody's just in their own head, so it's easy to take it personally. But I went into this phone call with the intention, or the mindset of, what, this guy has his own life. He's probably dealing with a bunch of stuff, and he probably just doesn't want to deal with it. So I call him, and that was like one of the first things he said. I start the call, are you still interested in selling that property? And he's yeah, I am. I just don't want to deal with it. And he said it almost verbatim. And I was like, oh, wow. So give him a call, see what he's talking about now. He's probably going to dodge me. He's dodged my phone calls since we came to that verbal agreement, because he knows, again, he just doesn't want to deal with it. But it's not going to prevent me or stop me from continuing to follow up.
Hello?
Hey, Mr. Johnson.
Yeah.
Hey, how's it going? This is Derek. We've been speaking about your property over on West Street.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, how you been?
All right.
Yeah, the last time we spoke, it sounded like you were wanting to round back with your son to discuss a few things. And I just wanted to round back with you, see if you got a chance to talk with him. I'm sorry?
Call me back if you want to do about this time. I'm in the car right now.
Sure, we'll do. I'll talk to you then, all right?
All right.
All right, bye now. ask for a call back tomorrow. That might have just been a polite way to dismiss me and get me off the phone, but it did sound like he was kind of in the middle of something when he first picked up. That's another thing that I want to start implementing. I'm not going to implement it until I kind of build out a script for it. But what I find a lot of the pros do is ask for the time, right? So they'll say, "Hey, Mr. Johnson, hey, this is Derek. We've been speaking about your property on West Street. Did I catch you at a good time?" And they'll say, "Yeah, yeah." And then if it's the first follow up, if you're getting the lead passed off to you from a cold caller, or maybe it's just you're passing it off to yourself the second time you're speaking, and this is the phone call where you're going to dig deep. I find again that a lot of pros will ask, my process very simple. Typically takes about 7 minutes. Is that all right? And if they say no, I'm in the middle of something. Again, I just want to make sure I'm not taking it personally, because you would rather them say no, call me back at this time, when you have their undivided attention, because the last thing that you're going to want is to go through your script, try to close them when they're focused on a bunch of other stuff. You're not going to be able to get them in front of their computer, pull up their email, get them to sign off on the agreement. So I'll leave a note, connected. You can hear him in his voice, though, again, that he wants to sell. He's telling me to follow up with him, but he just doesn't want to deal with it. Connected, ask for a call back this time tomorrow. Reschedule I'll say call 2:30 PST. Call him tomorrow. Boom. That's a hot one, though. It may not seem like it just off this one phone call, but the prior phone calls that I've had with him are really good. This guy, Ronnie, I connected with him on a cold call, stated that he had a contract already with another investor that he signed 6 months ago. And that was in June that I spoke with him. So he signed a contract probably end of last year, beginning of this year. But he says his brother owns half the property and he refuses to sign any papers. I didn't dig deep in that phone call, but I'm going to see if I can get him back on the line and see if I can do anything. Maybe reach out to his brother, or just generally figure out why he won't sign. Interesting. Might be a business he owns. Island Mist Pools and Spas. Google will identify that, since it's Google Voice. It will pull from all of Google's metadata and stuff. Oh, for sure. For sure. I'm going to make sure I dialed that correctly. I think I did. Give him another ring. Hit him with the double tap. Hopefully I can at least, well, I'm not going to leave a voicemail because it's clearly his place of business. Maybe not.
Good afternoon, I'll admit.
Hi, I'm sorry. I was looking for Ronnie.
Speaking.
Hey, Ronnie, this is Derek. Sorry if I caught you at a bad time or at your place of work. I wasn't wanting to do that, but we spoke about a month ago in regards to your property on Nordling Road.
Sir, I still can't do it. I got an asshole brother that won't sign any papers.
Yeah. I remember you mentioning that. Out of curiosity, is there a specific reason why he won't sign off on it?
Because he said I didn't have a contract for enough money, but the house is burned. Now my other line's fixing the rain. God bless.
Gotcha. So he had a specific price point that he was wanting for it there.
Yeah.
I see. Do you mind me asking what that number of his would be?
I don't know. I had it sold for $32,000 for the property.
Yeah, I remember you mentioning that. You had already kind of signed off on something, right?
Yeah, and it would have paid the taxes and give a little bit extra, but the taxes keep piling up.
Yeah.
So does the Harris County lawsuit, I'm sure.
Oh, okay. It's being condemned, or you've gotten some notices from the county?
I don't know. Why don't I just give you his number?
Yeah, that'd be perfect.
He answers the friggin' phone.
Absolutely.
I don't know will, but you can tell him about taxes piling up plus a lawsuit pending.
Sure.
But he won't talk to me. He thinks he's Mr. Know-It-All.
Right. I gotcha.
I just got to figure out where I wrote it down.
Yeah, no problem.
Okay. 903.
Mm-hmm.
And his name's Jerry.
Jerry?
Yep.
Perfect. And while I have you, sorry, you said that there was some fire damage to the property?
Oh, yeah. The house burned.
Gotcha. So it's probably just going to go for like the lot value then, I'd imagine. There's no salvaging.
Pretty much
Okay.
what I figured.
Okay. All right. Perfect.
People that wanted that did the contract, they were going to try to salvage part of it. So I don't know.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. Well, I'll give him a ring, and if I'm able to get a hold of him and maybe talk a little sense into him, I'll give you a call back. All right.
All right. You got it.
All right. Thanks for taking the call. All right. That was cool. Figured a little bit more out. Fire damage property. Asshole of a brother. Prior contract for 32, which is a fucking steal. Even if it does get, well, granted. So the lots in the area. Oh no, this is a different area I'm not familiar with. But typically, even just in the Houston metro area, lots are going for like 50,000. But if there's stuff on the property that needs to be torn down, you have to consider demolition costs as well. And if the development plans calls for like extension of sewage lines or anything like that, you have to consider just everything that's going to have to be involved in getting the lot build ready. Because build ready lots with utility hookups are already there. No trees impeding the area that you're going to build upon. Those lots go for 50,000. So 32K. Gave me brothers. Do I call his brother right now? Name and number to talk some sense into him. Yeah, call the brother. Yeah, okay, I'll give him a call. See me get cursed out. How do I frame it? Go off the fly. Ooh.
Hello?
Hey, Jerry.
Hey.
Jerry, how's it going? This is Derek. I'm actually speaking with, I believe, your brother, Ronnie, in regards to a property that I believe you guys jointly own over on Nordling Road.
Okay.
Yeah, I was just calling him, and it sounds like maybe there might be a disagreement between you two about the values, and I was just wanted to kind of pick your brain and see where you were at to see if there may be something that we can all come to an agreement on, and I'd be able to buy that place there.
Yeah, if he signed it over to me, he said it's not worth anything, and then I told him to sign it over to me, and I'd come in and clear it off and do all the stuff that needs to be done on it. But he's saying that he's just he would sign it over to somebody else, but not me. So.
Yeah, so I don't know much about the property other than it sounds like there's some fire damage to it. Is that correct?
Yeah, I think we had a house on it. He collected rent on it for years. I never received a dime. He collected, I think, the insurance on the fire damage, but then turned around and didn't do anything and let some vagrants move in it. And anyway, it's
gotcha.
That's pretty much the whole story.
Okay, all right, that makes sense now. And if you were to go in there and kind of do the work that you're talking about, did you have an idea of what type of work you'd be wanting to do to it before you sell it?
Yeah, I would come in with a dozer and a loader and put it in dumpsters and haul it off. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I mean, it's a pretty simple task.
So you're looking to demo the property. You don't think it's salvageable?
It is not salvageable.
Gotcha. Okay, that
The
makes
property
sense.
is much more valuable with actually the house gone. The house is the roof is the main damage. The house is cinder block construction.
Okay,
Yeah, it had a carport that's been removed, and the property's cleaned up except for the house. So it's a very doable thing now.
gotcha. And it looks, and I'm just looking here online. It looks to be a little under half an acre there for the lot size.
Yes,
Okay.
good size property. I think that's what it is.
Okay. Now, if you were going to, if you had the opportunity to go in there and clear it out like you're talking and just get the lot build ready there, did you have a number in mind that you'd be hoping to get for it?
Yeah, it's going to cost me to want to do the work somewhere, in the neighborhood of $10,000 to $15,000.
Mm-hmm.
Taxes due on, that's probably $15,000. Now I really don't know because I don't get any of the. He keeps all the information that comes in and does not pay tax. So,
Mm-hmm.
he got the money for the insurance off of the deal and did anything up with it. So and anyway, but I haven't really spoken to my brother hardly at all in years.
Gotcha.
But, yeah, it's like the first time I do something that he never mind. But anyway,
Yeah. That makes sense, and I'm kind of trying to piece it together myself here. But that totally makes sense. Just out of curiosity, do you think that you would be able to get in there and do that work that you're thinking of?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean,
Okay.
I'm very capable. I do
Okay.
that kind of stuff. But not a problem.
Yeah. Okay. And I'm sorry. So you were saying that it's probably going to run you about 10 to 15,000 to demo the property, clear it out, and whatnot. Now, did you have a number in mind that you'd be hoping to get for the lot once that's all done?
Well, either that or it's a beautiful lot. It's got pine trees on it. It would be perfect for storage units, storage of any kind. I think there's an interest by the people that have the car wash that I used to own that Ronnie sold, and I never got a penny from it.
Mm.
He forged my name.
Oh no.
Anyway, so he said I'd sold him that half of that property or something like that, which has never happened. And anyway, long story short, whether he's listening to the conversation or not, I don't know.
No. I would never do that. It's just me and you here.
Well, just in case, I don't know. And
Yeah.
I've always been I'm totally upfront with people. But the car wash next door was a high volume 4-bay car wash. We actually owned the rent house I had bought it years before Ronnie Reed came in the picture. And then when I moved on, Ronnie started running it, and then the next thing I know, he embezzled it. But
Oh wow.
long story short, he sold the rent house next door to it for $80,000. He sold the car wash for quite a sum of money. It's a very good income producing piece of property.
Definitely.
And that piece of property actually would be of interest probably from whoever bought the car wash.
Gotcha.
I've looked at it. There's several corporations I've tried to track down who bought it, but nobody will give me any information other than I send letters because I guess they know there was something wrong with that transaction. I'm not going to sue anybody for that. I'm not, hiring attorneys. I have a daughter that's an attorney, but I'm not going to do that. I'm done with it. But I don't want to fall over and play dead on this.
Right.
He'll turn around and he tells me to sign it over and they'll pay the taxes, and whatever.
Yeah.
You sign it over to me. I'll clear the property. I'll pay the taxes, and I'll do something with the property.
Okay. Now let me ask it. Do you? I was kind of under the assumption that you guys own it jointly, but is it in one person's name? Because you keep mentioning signing it over.
I thought it was in my name. Somehow or another, his name turned into it.
I see.
So it's somehow or another, and like I say, how it happened, but his name got on it. I originally bought it. His name was nowhere on it. But for some reason or another, and it may be because all the tax records, whenever they come to him, I don't know.
Just pulled it up. His name isn't on it. Just the first guy's.
It's our name now for some reason or other. And it could be have something to do with him filing the paper. But anyway, I had another investor call me, very nice guy, kind of like you are, and say, no, if you sign the paper, we can close on it and done. He said, I don't need Ronnie's signature. Well, but I don't know that.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, I wouldn't know it either until some type of an agreement is made and we get it over to the title company, who would be able to kind of do the research and run title on the property. But just kind of so that you know where I'm coming from. It's my partner and myself. We're looking to pick up a few properties in the area. We are looking to pay cash. We can close fairly quickly. We can cover all of the miscellaneous fees and costs when it comes to closing. So the number, that we would be offering would be kind of a net cash offer in your pocket. And really the best part is, in my opinion, is that we are looking to buy the properties in as is condition. So, you wouldn't be required to go in there and demo the house or tear anything down if you weren't wanting to. Now, I understand where you're coming from, where, you're willing to put in the work and spend the money if it means earning more money on the back end. The way that I'm
get rid of my brother and get rid of the eyesore. I've always taken care of all of my properties. I have multiple properties now, and it just disgusts me if somebody would collect on insurance and not pay the taxes and not do what they did because they've been collecting the rent for years.
Right.
But at the same thing, my brother is a deviant, and I found out he filed bankruptcy in 2019, right after that he sold the car wash and the rent house next door, and this, that, and the other, and he also sold another car wash of ours on Bowman Road that I was definitely. We bought it together. I paid the down payment, and he sold that. So he's profited largely by knowing me, but I had to disassociate myself with him because I'm a Christian. I pray about things, but some things the Bible will tell you get away from the devil, and I had to get away. And I don't have anything to do with him. I know you're supposed to love your brother. Well, guess what? I love my brother, just don't want anything to do with him.
Absolutely. And I can understand that.
Yeah, as a Christian, I have to do that. I've forgiven him. I take a deep breath, but I never, ever, ever would trust him with my kids or my grandkids or anything else or with any type of business transaction.
Right.
So,
that's
something. I have lifelong friends. I have lifelong church and family friends. My brother has none, and nobody that's ever done anything with my brother has anything else to do with him other than a new association or something else. So they've all either gotten burned or they know or something like that.
Right.
So anyway, even my oldest brother, I still do and see, and I help him because he's a lot older. And he always took up, you just don't know. Ronnie's really good. Ronnie this, Ronnie that, Ronnie that. My brother won't even say a word now about it. So he's obviously, he found out also, or something happened that they don't tell me, but now he knows.
Right.
I mean, I still take off work and I go take my other brother to the doctor or anything he needs, and I help him financially sometimes. But at the same time, like I said, he has finally stopped carrying that torch and saying, I don't want to talk about it.
Yeah.
And I don't bring it up. He just says, I don't have anything good to say anymore.
Yeah.
I figured something happened. So,
anyway.
Yeah. And it could have had something with a few years ago. Our mother died, and Ronnie was the trustee and on her house and that deal. And, So
Yeah,
don't know.
that's a shame.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's funny you mention it because my family's going through something similar right now. My grandmother had passed, last year, and my mother was actually named as the executor, which you're talking about, and she has a couple brothers and sisters as well, so they're going through it, and I've seen it firsthand, so I know exactly what you're talking about. It can get sticky, so I totally understand that.
Right. Well, there's some people in life that greed takes over.
Right.
Money is the ultimate. Well,
right, exactly.
I've got money. I've always had money. I've always been in business. I still have a business. I own furniture stores. I own property. I own some income producing property. So,
Right.
The only thing that I know to do is when just don't do business with ever again with somebody that is a cheating liar.
Exactly. Exactly.
And I'll continue to pray for him. I'll pray for his salvation, but I will not do anything with him.
Definitely.
But saying that, what do I think? I know the property's worth quite a lot, more than it's on the tax rolls for either $76,000 or $80,000.
Okay.
It's worth a lot more than that. It could be commercial income producing property.
Oh, okay.
I've owned in the years past. I've owned many warehouses. That would be perfect for there. But that property could actually be cleaned up, sold, and I promise you that car wash would love to have that property.
Yeah.
I mean, their fence is so tight to that property, and they have so little room. And that's another thing. The TxDOT came along and bought the easement of the car wash and took the road in. There was a pretty good sizable amount of money that was paid. I never knew about it. I found out about it 2 years later when they called and said they needed an additional my signature on an additional piece on where they had bought the easement.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, "You got to be kidding me!" And somehow or another, it came to me, not to him. Otherwise, he would have signed and sent it back.
Right.
So there was other finances there. So just numerous things. And I know you probably run into this all the time, but I'm amazed that somebody can be that deceitful and that arrogant to steal from a loved one or anyone, as far as that goes.
Yeah, I'm telling you, like I was saying, my family's going through it. I'm looking at my uncle differently now. It's a weird time, and
money's not important to me.
Yeah, and
it
shouldn't be.
And that's not what I hold in value. I hold my love for people and salvation up at the most, and everything else, I don't worry about it.
Yeah.
I have to let it go. But this would be the last straw on this property that somehow or another intersects with that.
Yeah.
If you want to look at the property, if you haven't looked at it, if you think you want to make me an offer, make me an offer.
Yeah, and I was going to go ahead and ask, is foregoing all of that work that you're planning on doing and just taking a cash offer before you do that work, is that something that you would be interested in? Obviously I would have to consider the cost that you're talking about, in order to get it build ready, but
well, and here again, you may be able to do it for less money. I do have some equipment, but more than likely, I live on the lake, and I have a business in Palestine, Texas, and I have a business in Waxahachie. And,
okay.
And so both of my business, I travel back and forth between the two. I have lake property with some RV spots and this, that, and the other.
Very cool.
So, yeah, so I do multiple things. But if you want to make me an offer, look at it, think about it, and like I say, I can. If the offer is something, and yes, I'd like to just be done with it.
Right. Okay.
But at the same time,
you don't want to give it away.
Yes.
Yeah,
and,
I get it.
It's a beautiful piece of property, and I bought that many years ago when I was actually just starting out. I bought the car wash on Fulton Street. I just recently sold it
Right.
And it went south from there. I said, no, that is in my name.
Yeah, yeah.
You get a contract to sell, beware, because he does not own it.
Right.
And, so anyway.
Yeah, and that's what another thing that I wanted to mention. Either way, if we do end up making something happen here, there's no way that any funny business could be taking place, because once I get it to the title company, they're gonna run the search on it, and anybody who owns any has any type of ownership to the property, they'll need to sign off on it. So what I'll do here is I'll kind of take a look at it. I'll run the numbers, just take a look at the market activity in the area. And is this a good number to reach back out to you on?
This is probably the only number.
Okay.
This is cell phone. I'm here actually in my home office right now.
Okay.
I have a fax machine, but I don't. I do not have a landline anymore.
Okay.
Fax machine and the internet. That's why I keep the line for the fax. And I don't use fax anymore. Everything's pretty much email. So.
Okay. So yeah,
and my email, if you need it, is my name, Jerry Walthall @yahoo.com.
Gotcha.
First name Jerry, last name Walthall @yahoo.com.
Gotcha. All right, perfect. I'll take note of all that, and like I said, I'll kind of do my homework, figure out what I'm able to offer, and I'll be sure to round back with you.
So your phone came up that you're in Deer Park. Are you in Deer Park?
Not Deer Park. That's funny. People mention that, but it's just the area code. I think that it kind of throws it off. But me and my partner, we're looking to buy. Typically we're looking on the east end of Houston, but we'll buy all over Houston Metro. So it's not really a matter of where it's at all. So as long as somebody's wanting to sell. Oh no! I'm actually from California.
Okay, good for you.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. So perfect. I appreciate you taking the. I'm sorry.
Never need any furniture. I got 2 furniture stores in a furniture warehouse.
Oh, perfect. Yeah, definitely. We'll look to furnish some of the properties. Absolutely.
Yeah, it's funny that I was just picking up a couple emails and doing some stuff here, but I'm actually closing on a property on Monday. And,
nice.
That I'm buying is $460,000, and I'm actually I have a 10 o'clock closing on Monday. So
very nice.
So I still do stuff. I still will buy and sell stuff.
Yeah, you're in the mix.
Yes, this is income producing property that I'm getting. So but with your deal, if seriously, if you guys are investors, man, that property would be awesome.
Yeah, and that's now that you mentioned all of kind of the different exit strategies that you had considered in the past, that's something that I'm going to take a look at myself. Maybe reach out to some partners that we will team up with financially on some of the deals, and see if they may be of interest in it for those purposes. Because you're saying it's mixed use land there, so.
And that is you can use it for commercial.
Right. Exactly.
It butts up to that car wash. They need to expand. It's a very busy car wash. I guarantee you can flip that property to them.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Super simple.
That's what Ronnie was trying to do. But you just tell me what you want to do. I'm ready to divest it and be done.
Perfect.
But at the same time, I don't want to be stupid. Okay.
Absolutely. And I will. I appreciate you taking the call.
Send me an email.
Yeah.
With your contact information.
Yeah.
I would appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll do that right as we get off the phone here.
Or you can text it to me at this number, either one.
Sure. Okay. All right. Perfect. I appreciate you taking the call.
Appreciate it.
Bye now. That was cool. I think that if you heard, I really tried to dig deep on if he was willing to just like sell it now. And he is. He's willing. He wants to wipe his hands clean with it. He just doesn't want to be dumb. So he's saying that the lot could probably go for 76 to 80,000 because it's mixed use. It's residential, commercial. It can be used for whichever. And if that's the case, then he probably could get that high. And he's saying it's going to take 10 to 15 in work, which means that he's probably looking for around 60 to 65 right now, which I can't do. I'd probably be 20,000 lower than that, 40 to 45. If again, I have to take a look at the mixed use thing, but that was a really good conversation. Turns out, seems to me that the snake in the relationship is actually the first brother. But who knows? It could just be hearsay. They're both saying that the other one's a jerk. But that was a cool conversation. Went on for a little bit longer than I wanted it to, but I'm gonna go ahead and shoot him an email right now with my information. Take note on my file so that I can reference it the next time I do it. I'll kind of run my numbers. I was wanting to give him an offer on the phone, but when I got him to tell me his number, it was a bit higher than I expected. And he also mentioned and was pretty easily able to justify why he was asking that. And he's a player. He's buying properties, so he may know better than me because it's his property. He's talking about, again, the mixed use is really what it is. If you can find, based off of what I've learned, if you can find a vacant lot that had a residential property on it, but it can be used for commercial purposes, that's where the money's at. Because I'm looking at investing into a lot for the purpose of building a new house and selling that new house. So there's a cap on what you're able to spend because it's going to cost so much to build the property and then pay insurance on it, pay your guys insurance on it while they're working, the labor insurance, all type of stuff, right? Utilities while the project's ongoing, holding costs from your lender, all types of stuff that factors into a new construction play. But if it can be used for multifamily, then it opens it up, right? Because now you're investing in it and building this multifamily, unit for cash flow purposes, as opposed to just flipping it and getting that one check when you sell it on the open market. Now you can look at it like, okay, apartments in the area are going for X amount in rent. Okay, if I can build a fourplex and collect that rent times 4, then somebody is willing to pay more for the value of the land. If that makes sense. Hopefully that makes sense. Whereas like a new construction play, I would get it for 40. I would wholesale it or I would assign it for 10,000. So the end buyer is all in for 50. They spend, 150 grand, 200 grand, however much to build the property. And then when they sell it, there's a fixed amount that they're going to get in profit, and that's it. But for a multifamily investor, they may be willing to buy it for 100,000, build that same, have that similar cost of construction, maybe more expensive, but they're willing to go above and beyond for the cash flow purposes. So now they can hold on to this property forever, and their returns are coming in like crazy every month. So it just depends on how you're wanting to do it, and that's why these type of plays could go as high as what he's asking for. So I'm going to take a look, ask around, figure out if I can come up somewhere near that. Again, he's probably looking for 60 to 65, 60 to 65 without doing any of the work. I'm hoping that I can find some type of a play and somebody who's interested in the property where they're willing to go above and beyond the like 50,000 that lots are going for. And I'm hoping that, Jerry is willing to come down a little bit as well to somewhere around that range. I'm hoping that I can probably, if it's a multifamily play, I'm hoping to get it for around 50 to 55, see if he's willing to come down like $10,000 off his asking price, and then hopefully assign it for 60 to 65. So yeah, that was a pretty cool little 1-2 brother to brother interaction. Appreciate you, Frank, for pushing me to call the brother. I was seriously considering not, and I really was. And like you're saying, he sounds way more open to it than the brother was saying. I know it's clearly like a hearsay. Like both of them are. First one, oh, my brother's an asshole, and the second one, I don't want anything to do with him. He burned me multiple transactions, and I honestly trust the second guy. He sounds like he kept referencing that he was a Christian. He sounds like a servant of God, I don't want to get religious, but that really is what it comes down to, not faith or religion or anything like that. But in real estate specifically, you have to come from a servant mindset. it can't be about the money. If it's only about the money, it's gonna be not only it's gonna be clear to the other person on the other end of the phone that you're only in it for the profit. But me sitting on the phone with this guy for 20, 30 minutes and hearing him out and really, stepping into his shoes and stepping into his world, he's gonna remember me. He's gonna know now. Anybody else who calls, he's gonna say, "No, I'm already talking to this other guy." Or at least that's my hopes, But I really think that he would, especially now that I'm gonna follow up with an email and it's gonna be like I'm his friend, right? I'm wanting to work with him, and he seemed like a really cool guy, honest. I was just trying to do the same, right? That's what people appreciate, and I am learning that in sales, right? It works for some people, some personality types, some prospects are down for just like the straight transactional, hit me with all the questions and I'll tell you yes or no if I'm going to accept your offer. This guy, there's emotion involved. There's motivation here. He doesn't want to have to keep talking about this with his brother. He doesn't want to have to go in there and demo the property, but he's willing to if, that's what it's going to take to get the amount of money that he wants. So anyways, appreciate you guys. If you like it, like the content, I'd appreciate a like, comment, subscribe with a little notification bell. Shit, might as well, right? Appreciate you guys. Sorry, I'm standing up. I'm moving around. It's hot as hell in here. I'm going to go turn the AC on. Till the next one. Peace.